Hello, everybody. I toned that down just a bit because we have a new guest on here, Joe from Sideline Strategies. And of course, we have Anthony Crooks, Bleacher Bums Gaming, creator of Glory Days Boxing and the Glory Days Sports Universe. In conjunction, he works with Joe from Sideline Strategy of Payoff Pitch. This is freaking awesome, people. Anyway, Anthony, how's everything going? Joe, thank you for being here. The floor is yours, Anthony. We have Captain Carl here. Hello, Captain Carl. So I've got you on radio mod because I am at work. Hope and everyone is doing. We are all doing well. Thank you very much, Captain Carl.
Absolutely.
So Anthony, how's things going?
Not much to report on the boxing front. Right now, I'm working on the college football game, which is in testing. I finished the quick play testing. Happy with it so far. I've got someone doing some additional testing on that. And then it's just a matter of rating about another 100 teams, and it will be ready to go.
Just 100 teams. That's nothing.
Yeah.
That's go
ahead.
Oh, that's the thing with college football, because I help beta test Pro Strategy Football, the video game. And I've made some college teams, and I eventually want to. And all the seasons are free, by the way, for Pro Strategy Football. If anyone wants to know, the mod community makes them. You download them, right? And so I made some college teams. They have people who just make full seasons, right? It takes me a long time to make 3 to 4 college teams, and so yeah, I feel your pain when you sit there. Just another 100 to rate, but
yeah, it takes about 40-45 minutes to rate each team or to do each team card. So, it's in process. What's up, Captain Carl? And, happy with where it's at now. So probably later in the spring, it will be ready to go. And then for the boxing game after that, a fictional set of 100 fighters, which a smaller niche, but a few people have been requesting that.
Actually, more than I thought, Anthony. There's a lot of people, they want that fictional because they want to have their own little, universe, we'll say. Like they want to take a fighter through and see how that goes. I love Glory Days Boxing. It's such a fun game. I look forward. And again, the card quality is just, hear that? Beautiful.
Well, I had to do that because Joe has the best quality cards in the baseball.
I was just saying that, yes. Anthony, so when's wrestling coming?
I've got 2 baseball games designed that are just going to sit there for a while. One is like a quicker play game, like Pocket Pennant Run, and another is a full regular baseball game. But wrestling, I think I'll work on after the college football game.
Cool.
For the boxing game, I'm going to wrap that up. I'll do one more after the fictional set, one more set of 100 real life fighters to try and pull in fighters that people have requested that haven't made it yet. And, then everything else for Glory Days Boxing will probably be freebies and enhancements as we go forward, as I focus on
which is stuff. You're so accessible, Anthony. And Glory Days Boxing can be purchased at sidelinestrategies.com. That's Joe's site where you can get Payoff Pitch also. Link provided in the chat and on the page. Link provided also for the Glory Days Boxing Facebook group page in the chat and on the page. And I forgot. Bleacher Bums Gaming YouTube channel. Link provided on the site and on the page and in the, what I mean, in the chat. Come on, people. You've done this already. Stop bothering me about it. No. Anyway, Joe, we're very excited to have Joe on. Anthony, introduce your good friend, Joe.
Well, yeah, Joe is responsible as anybody for the game. When I was designing it, I reached out to him, and then surprisingly, he got back quick. He's like, yeah, sure. And so I was real excited, and I think we have a really good working relationship. Joe is one of the best guys in the genre, and really enjoy and appreciate what he's done for the game as well. So yeah,
I do too. Thank you very much, Joe, because it's a wonderful game, and Payoff Pitch is a fun game. I need to bring that to my channel more. I got to pick up some season. I got a PDF one time way back when. I think I want to get the cards though, because yes, I can print print them out, but I've seen so many people play Payoff Pitch in that have bought the card sets, and they're really nice. I'm using this, but they're really nice quality. I mean, they're this kind of quality. They're nice cards.
Yeah, they're. I think you use 130-pound card stock too, right, Joe?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, so his cards are outstanding
Yeah.
and colorful, and they're very well precision cut. So yeah, very, very good quality.
And I like with Payoff Pitch, just before we turn it over to Joe, and he's going to tell us about sideline strategies and all the wonderful games on there and how he got started. I think there's with Payoff Pitch, a really good, in my opinion, batter pitcher interaction. You can play with fast action cards if you want, and you can also play with dice, or you can play with a hybrid, which I've seen people play the hybrid, and I've been watching that. Yep, I've been watching that more and more, because when I do buy a couple of seasons, actually I'm going to get the whole game again. I want to do the hybrid because I like rolling the dice, but for any game, I'm not a big chart lookup person. And I saw how Anthony and a couple other people, they just, you flip the card and you go, okay, this is what happened. And it just takes place. It's like you have a mini chart right in your fingertips, and it's just a brilliant way of playing it. And either way you play it, there's no wrong way, but I like that way. It seems very good. So Joe, you were on with our friends, Dave Gardner and Ron Juckett last year on Digital Dice. Remember, check out Digital Dice, people. Digital Dice. Right there. Check it out. And it was a really fun interview. And I always find it fascinating how creators like yourself, people who are creative like you and Anthony, how you just one day sat there and said, I'm going to make a game. Because I told Joe off air, and Anthony knows this, I've been trying to make a football game, just putzing around with an old Fran Tarkenton version for a while and making it my own. And it comes down to, all of a sudden, I'll do that forever. I really like playing games better than making games. So, Joe, what were some of the first games you played, and how did you come up with the concept of Payoff Pitch? Because, again, I like the pitcher batter interactions very well done, in my opinion.
Right. Yeah. My first introduction to tabletop sports games were Strat-o-matic football and Strat-o-matic baseball.
Yep.
I guess most people could say the same. And then that was just a childhood friend and I would get together, and he had the game, so we'd play whenever I was over at his place, and he kept finding all sorts of new games. We played SPI baseball a few times, and I ended up buying Pursue the Pennant, and we played that. And then, you grow up and go off to college, and I stopped playing, and then computers came out, so then I was playing some computer games, but it just
something different when you play a computer game in cards and dice.
Yeah.
There's a feel when and again, I play on my channel a lot of computer games just because the setup's easier for me, but I enjoy card and dice. But there's something when you either roll or flip your action cards and you're using your imagination. So yeah, I know. I agree.
Yeah, I mean, I like PC games because they take away the stat tracking and just make some of that easier, but you kind of lose. So when I play a PC baseball game, I usually just simulate like months at a time. I don't actually play out the game because it's not enjoyable. But for Payoff Pitch, I'll sit down and roll a game, and
So let me just read this because this is a nice compliment here, Joe. John DFW. Unfortunately for John, Strat messed up his order for the 1960s diamond set. I'm sure they'll make it right. I hope so. And he says, I've heard Joe has better customer service, with a smile. Joe has excellent customer service, and so does Anthony from Beach. And they're one and the same in a way. Two wonderful people. So I'm sorry. Go ahead, Joe. I just wanted to share.
Yeah, that's fine. So it was like around 2008 or so, I just started thinking about games again, like tabletop games.
Yep.
And I was like, God, I wish there was something that involved both the pitcher and batter every at bat, because I mostly played Strat and Pursue the Pennant, and those are the 50-50 type games where you're either finding the result on the pitcher card or the batter card. You don't really use both, so sometimes it doesn't matter who the opponent is. The result's the same
If
regardless.
you're constantly rolling off the hitter's card, you could have Sandy Koufax, and you could have, and again, in reality, a great pitcher could have that. And this is no knock against any game. We're just explaining a different theory on how to do it.
Yeah.
And I'm in agreement there, because I've enjoyed Strat. I have mostly Strat, but I do enjoy other games. But yeah, because I've seen some people who have streamed like whole seasons, say, using a certain game, and I remember one person getting very frustrated because he just rolled bad. It was the dice gods were not with him. He was never rolling right on the pitcher's card in big situations, and that's the way that is.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Joe. I'm sorry to interrupt. Then we'll get to the chat. There's some really nice comments here for you, Joe. So.
Yeah. No, I'm not disparaging other games.
No, I know you're not. Sorry.
I still see that friend sometimes, and we'll bust out Strat-o-matic and roll a few games just because we've played Payoff pitch too, but Strat-o-matic is just easy. I mean, that's what we grew up playing, and you don't have to look up.
It's a good game. Good game.
Yeah.
There's a couple. Here's our good friend Sports Time Machine Utah Mike. Check out his wonderful channel. He says, "Hello everyone. Thanks Joe for the great game. Took advantage of a few of his PDF sets and have one set 1984. Such a great work and delivery. It's a fun game and excellent. And then Dave Gardner, you were on last year with Uncle Dave Gardner. Hello, check out his wonderful channel. Of course, Digital Dice makes everything nice. Digital Dice, Spreaker or Spotify or wherever fine podcasts can be listened to. Robbie Wartburg is here. He's saying hello. And Big Clue, our friend Big Clue says, heck, McDonald's has better. I see now I'm going to get hate. I always love, but that's okay. McDonald's has better customer service than Sam.
And John said he sent them an email. We should tell John that if you reach out to ID Jester, he would be happy to advocate for you to Strat.
Yes, IDJ.
Great relationship with them.
Yes. Boom, boom, boom. Actually, I'm gonna say something really. Strat helped me out one time because I had ordered a bunch of sets when they had a big sale. I said, I'd like to have these, right? And then my dad got sick, and we took care of my dad, and then he passed away. And I finally started to open them up, and I realized I didn't have one season. And I called them, and they actually sent me the season. I was thinking I was going to have to pay at least shipping. And I said, it's not your fault. I should have checked this. I explained. I said, no, we'll send it right to you. And so, again, I bash them as much as everybody for customer service, but I have to be honest that they were very good for that one. So, all right, enough of that. Let's get back to Joe. It's about Joe and Anthony.
Where was I? No.
You're talking about you playing Strat and how you came up with the pitcher batter interaction, which I find very fascinating. How you came up with it. It's very well done.
Yeah. So I was just looking for a way to involve both, and it's been a good number of years. I can't remember what I was really thinking at the time, but it I wanted something that I broke the batter cards up into the wheelhouse, patient, tough, and in play, just because I wanted something that, when a pitcher makes a great pitch, sometimes the batter still hits it, and that's what the tough category represents. Like,
they can still get a hit, but it's the chances are less
very
likely
much.
the better the pitcher, because I'm trying, like, if the pitcher is not a top-notch pitcher, he has less tough chance. I'm trying to think of the cards in my head now. There's less chances to hit that tough, however it's set up to hit the tough and so on and so forth.
Yeah, or he'll have more wheelhouse, which is very bad for most pitchers.
1962 Mets. Wheelhouse.
Yeah. But even with wheelhouse, there's still that chance that pitcher delivers a fat one and
guy misses it.
Batter beats it into the ground or flies out. So it's not an automatic, which is what I liked. So, and it still plays fast. And I mean, if you play with the cards, even rolling dice for the initial at bat, you can still get a 30 minutes, get the game done.
What is your, again, just out of curiosity, because I like rolling the dice. Do you prefer the dice chart, fast action cards, or a combination like Anthony plays?
Yeah, I play the hybrid, so I'll roll
brilliant.
I'll roll the dice to start the at bat, but
Yep.
then I use the fast action cards to resolve if it needs it.
If it needs it,
yeah.
Because a lot of it comes right off the card. You roll
the player cards, yeah.
Yeah, and there's some. Let's just get there's some really nice comments here. First, let's go to Richard. Then I'm going to go back to Big Clue. Richard says, "Love Payoff Pitch, best game engine on the market, genius." Thank you. That's very kind of you, Richard, and it is a very fun game. Big Clue. What new seasons are next for Payoff Pitch, Joe?
Yeah, I have 2021, the most recent one, should be out later this month. And then I'm going to be working on the 1960s and 1970s, filling a bunch of those.
When do you, because I'm a big fan of 1976 just because of Mark the Bird Fidrich.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, I know you can get it other places, but I don't want to get it other places. Is that on the horizon? Obviously, you said you're going to work on the 70s. How do you come up with the seasons you like? Do you go like, whether it's a Great World Series or you just go, I'm going to bang out these seasons in order? Or is there a player or something big happen that year that you think? Because you have to get it for people wanting to say, oh, I want, you know what I mean? Want your time and efforts going in, like when Anthony does something, in the back of your guy's mind, it has to be Anthony and Joe. Yes, I'm enjoying doing this, but I want people to buy it and have fun. I want people to have fun like I'm having fun. So how do you come up with that? And then I'll ask Anthony the same question on when he figures out his boxing sets.
Yeah, for the baseball seasons, normally it's I try to do the ones with great or close pennant run races.
Makes sense.
Or if a lot of people request a season, I'll try to get to that first. So it's a combination of just how close the pennant races were for that year and then how many people are actually requesting it. Because I get a request almost every day from someone. So I just tally them up and let that steer me which one
I think that's a really good. I never because a close pennant race means you have if you're going to play the whole season, it's going to be fun. Good teams. Yeah, that's interesting. So Anthony, when you come up with and there's some more, we're going to get questions here for Joe. Everyone's excited, and I love that. Anthony, when you decide because Anthony, I remember Anthony and I talking offline, and he says I was in agreement with him, and I always agree with Anthony because he is the guru, he is the man. You want to do the original weight classes, no junior sets, no super, however you want to put it. But then I was like, can you just do a few, Anthony? Can you just do because there's so many fun fighters. And what he did originally, it was brilliant, was okay, this guy might not have really thought too much at the next weight up or the weight, but I'm going to make a card and we can still have fun with it. But then what finally made you move to those? And I have to be honest with you, my favorite sets, and I love them all, Anthony. I love the supplement.
Junior welter.
Junior welter and junior middleweight. I'm having a ball with those two sets. There's just so many fun, great matchups in those sets, and there's great matchups throughout. But as a boxing fan, yeah, everyone knows the heavyweights, but you're missing out, man. When you got some really excellent, fun what if matchups at junior middleweight, a junior welterweight, or super lightweight, however you want to call it. So how do you come up with what when you and you're really, like Joe is just saying, you guys are really in tune to the community that you're serving? Because I know Anthony, someone will go, hey, can you make this fighter? And Anthony goes, he'll be in the next set. But you know what I'll do? I'll make it and I'll put it in a PDF, and you can get it on your site. You go to Sideline Strategies, then you click on the Glory Days, and you can get it free. I don't know how many free fighters you've created. It's wonderful.
I don't know. A few. I think you start with, like with me, I'm a big boxing historian, obviously. So a lot of guys I created, some people may not have known. And that's been one of actually the joys is as people play the game, sometimes I'll get emails or comments on the Facebook page. Hey, I went back and researched this guy, or, you know, these old fighters I didn't know, I'm actually going and reading about, learning about, you know, so that's been really cool for me. And, you know, that's kind of the approach I take, because I think boxing history is so rich, you know, throughout, going back to the 1800s. So that's how I started. And like you said, I'd only planned to do the original 8 weight classes. Yep. And I just didn't think there'd be an interest. And it's one of a couple of miscalculations I made. But, you know, like I've said before, I make the game, but once you buy it, it's your game, and you should be able to play it how you want with the fighters you want. So, you know, there was definitely demand. Junior welters was big. And, you know, so I'm like, that's kind of where the supplement set came from. I mixed in some lighter divisions, and, you know, those have actually both been very well received. And, you know, really it's about, you know, again, this is a passion for me. It's, you know, as Joe will attest, we don't get rich making these games. It's a passion, and it's good to see other people, you know, sharing that with you and also enjoy it the same way. So, you know, I think you need to accommodate the people who support you by supporting them with the fighters they want. And that's kind of, especially to this point now, there's 1,100 fighters released for Glory Days. So I've got everybody I wanted to get in the game. You know, so now it's about filling in what other people would like that might not be in there. We've got, you know, the last supplement set had Gary Guyton in there, and his nephew reached out to me before, and I made him a free card because he got the game for his uncle.
Yep.
And you know, so I put him in there, and then you'll see on the Facebook page, Jerry Linscott. Yep. His a relative of his is in the last set, Gene Linscott, who was a, you know, journeyman level middleweight back in the day. So, you know, that's been fun too, and I really like people reaching out. I've heard from a relative of Jack Geyer, who was a fighter back in the teens in 1920. So, you know, that's been really cool experiencing that.
You can, with any of these games, and we're talking about Glory, we're talking about the sideline strategies gaming universe, Glory Days, Boxing, Payoff, Pitch, and many others. There's some other people talking about some other cool games you have on your site we're going to get to in a second. You're bringing the fun to your tabletop, and for boxing, I can make any, and I'm a big fan of mythical matchups and this and that, and that's fun. And when I play baseball, I have to be honest, I don't play seasons. That's why I buy a couple, because I would say, well, it would be pretty cool to see Sandy Koufax pitch against Ron Guidry, Sandy Koufax 66 against Ron Guidry 78, because I match up everything like boxing in my mind. You know, like I like to see that, even though it's a team sport. And so everyone plays the game the way they want. And it's just fun. And it's a really credit to you too, that gentlemen, that you do listen to the community, and that's awesome. Let me just go to the chat real quick, and we'll get, so Tony Martin says, my first game was extra innings back in the late 70s. I'm not familiar with that one. Does anyone know? Tony, if you can expound a little more. I don't remember extra innings. Dave Gardner always wants more hockey games. We need a hockey game.
Yeah.
That's
and you know, Dave, our good friend Gary Brown, Stone Mountain Press, actually is in the final stages of
I saw the email.
Hockey, which looks like it'll be fun.
Yeah. And again, they're fun games over there also on Stone Mountain Press. Sports Time Machine. Dave, can you imagine different zones on a power play hockey game by Joe? That'd be interesting. Tough. And again, every game's a little different. Could you possibly use? I've asked this to Anthony, but Joe, I know Anthony, like for wrestling, you could use a similar engine in a way as boxing. Could you take, say, your most popular game? I would definitely say is Payoff Pitch. Mm-hmm. Have you tried to use that engine? And the basketball game, sort of, because I have the basketball game. I have an ABA season and whatever season that came with the game. It's similar. Again, that's you can actually roll dice for that too, but that's definitely, basketball's tough. I think it's more of a fast action than maybe roll on a shot or something. That's the way I've been trying to figure out how I want to play that. But do you try to use the same type of engine? So when people purchase a sideline strategies game, they're like, oh, this is similar to the baseball game. Oh, this is similar to the basket. Is it plausible to always try that or no? You know how Strat is sort of similar.
Right. Yeah. No, I guess I have not tried that. But I could. Yeah. No,
I'm trying my best, Uncle Dave Garden, to get you a hockey game right here.
yeah. The problem isn't creating the game so much as having to create seasons.
Yeah.
I mean, it's easy to create the game, but then to support it with seasons, that
because you got to rate the team or
yeah,
the players.
right. And I know some people, they just grab the stats from like Baseball Reference and throw it in a spreadsheet, and they have formulas all set up and spits it out. And yeah, you could do that, and people do that, but the way the payoff pitch works, it's a little more involved with the different categories, and every the pitcher and batter have to interact. It's not 50-50, so it's harder to rate that. It still takes me about a month and a half to rate and test the season, so it's not like
right. That's the other thing. Same with Anthony. It's not just rating it. I just didn't even get to you just brilliant. You then have to play test it. You don't want something going out there and people are not being what you think it should be.
Right.
You want to. I'm not going to give the game. I made a fighter in a game, and I realized as much as I love this fighter, I kind of overrated him just a tad. So I had to go back and switch his ratings, and that's just one. And I knew you guys are making many fighters or a baseball team, all the players, and you have to rate them. So yeah, you have to play test that, and that takes a lot of time to get out your great products that both of you have. So yeah, here's another one for Joe. Joe, I love Basho Fury Sumo, such a great game.
Yes.
I remember you talking to Dave Gardner and Ron Juckett about this game on Digital to Dice. How did you? And we'll get back to whatever everyone wants to talk about. But how did you come up with? Because this is when I think of sumo wrestling, I think of ABC Wide World of Sports when I was a kid, and every once in a while they'd have sumo wrestling, and I was like, I gotta watch this. These two large behemoths just going boom, hitting each other, and it's over.
It's over, yeah. Yeah. So yeah, Basho Fury, I was just trying to come up with something that played quick, took 6 seconds to run a match, because that's about the average.
Sumo wrestling's quick.
Yeah, it is. So it's a nice game, but I'm still trying to find something with a little more depth to it. Like a wrestling game. You might not notice it unless you have watched a lot of sumo, but there's a lot going on in those few seconds with the sumo wrestlers trying to grab each other or push each other, whatever style they have. I mean, there's
get the leverage styles on one another.
Yeah, so it's actually very there's a lot going on in those 6, 10, 12 seconds that a match occurs. But trying to capture that in a dice game or any kind of game and have it play fast is challenging.
Yeah, and I could see the problem with that too. Is it's kind of like boxing. It's subjective in a lot of those areas too.
Yeah,
you really have to research and know.
Did you have to watch? How did you come up with your is stats the right word, or your opinions on? Are they real sumo? Because I've seen
yes.
it. They are real. So did you watch? Are you able to watch on YouTube? Can you find sumo wrestling? Like if you type it in and watch some of it. And
yeah, you can. And we have a smart TV like probably a lot of people now, and there's the NHK channel, and that's Japan.
Okay.
And so they'll replay like a highlight show. It's usually about 25 minutes, and it highlights most of the top division matches. So I'll watch that. But then there's also a couple different YouTube channels that have various videos.
Interesting.
Some are long, some are short.
Joe and I had a conversation about sumo, and he got me really interested. And I binged watched sumo on YouTube for about a week after that. It really is. It's really fascinating to watch.
Like I tell you, I think of Wide World of Sports. I used to always watch it. Okay. Everyone wants 1978 so they can make fun of Al, the Red Sox fan. Why don't you all? No, I'm just. Yeah, because 77. You have 77.
And
I know
79.
that.
Yeah.
That's a fun year. Actually, it's a good year for the Red Sox. They had a good, solid team. Not a lot of pitching, but they could hit the snot out of the ball. Sports Time Machine like 78. Richard Butler. Also love Glory Days boxing. It turned me into a boxing fan, which is quite a compliment for a sim game. I'll tell you what I like about Glory Days boxing and Payoff Pitch. To me, they're very easy to understand. Glory Days boxing, you pretty much, everything comes off the card. I like that. The majority of Payoff Pitch comes off the card. Then again, the way I want to learn how to play and I got to watch, I was rolling dice for everything because I didn't get the fast action cards. And you can play that way, but again, I don't like charts. And then I watched the hybrid of the way Anthony played and a couple other people. I said, "Oh, okay. I'm going to get a season ordered, I'm going to order the fast action cards." And I like that because again, you have the chart right in your hand, basically. So, but I think that's important. That, and Dave Gardner and Ron Juck and other people have talked about this. When you get a game and you start looking at how to play it, you want to kind of get it quickly, or you start to go, I don't want to play. I mean, that's me. And that's probably quite a few other people. Sports Time Machine. I bought the PDF for 2001 for the World that changes yes, the World Series, correct. Midlife Crisis. Joe, what was your first set and what inspired you to make your first set? Great question, Midlife Crisis.
Yeah, 1979 was the first set, and mostly because that was the first card set I played when I first discovered tabletop baseball games. So yeah, it was just I was very familiar with 1979. I was playing 1970.
Pirates were the lumber company.
Yeah,
I'm trying to remember if it was that was a
yeah. We
79.
Are Family. Yeah.
Yep. No, that part I remember. But I remember the lumber company. I was like, was that the 60s or the 79? That was a 79.
79.
They were down 3-1 in that World Series to the Orioles, and that's a tremendous accomplishment for them to come back. Yeah. So that's very interesting. Were you at Pirates? Well, you're in Wisconsin. What's your favorite baseball team, if I may ask?
So in the 70s and 80s, it was the Pirates.
Okay.
Actually into the 90s too, but yeah, the home team is the Brewers. But I was a very big Pirates fan.
And Milwaukee had a decent team in 79. They could hit.
Yeah.
Their pitching wasn't that good, but I remember they could hit.
Yeah, at the late 70s, they were pretty good, but after
Gordon Thomas is like the guy that you play softball with. So
yeah,
and he's apparently a really good guy, really active in the community too.
Yeah, I haven't. I've only met him like at an autograph signing, so I don't really know him. But yeah, he seems pretty down to earth and a good guy.
I want to throw the same. Oh, sorry. I want to throw the same question to you, Anthony. Who was the first boxer? And I think you've answered this, but who was the first boxer you researched for Glory Days boxing and why? I know. I'm pretty sure I know this, but
I don't know. I think it was Jack Johnson. Just because he's such a fascinating story to me, because he lived. I mean, it's like if you took Floyd Mayweather Jr. and put him back in 1908. That's how Jack Johnson lived his life. He was his own man, and
he lived it by his own rules.
Yeah, didn't let the restrictions and the
Frank Sinatra said he did it his way.
And a lot of respect for him. And if you watch the documentary or the book Unforgivable Blackness, which is his story, fascinating, and talks about a lot of what he does outside the ring. He was an accomplished chef, could play several musical instruments.
I think one of my favorite fast cars. I'm gonna get one of my favorite Jack Johnson stories. It has nothing to do with boxing. Excuse me. Henry Ford would send him a new car every year because he knew Jack Johnson was going to get caught for speeding tickets, and they always said he was driving a yada yada, like a Ford. And so he sent him a car. Here, go ahead. Go get caught for speeding.
Well, another story about that. He was going through a small town and got pulled over.
Yeah, love this
and asked what the fine was, and I think it was $50. And he handed the officer $100, and the officer said, "Why did you do that?" And he goes, "Because I'll be coming back through here later."
It's very interesting human being. Great. The tough times he lived through. I'm not going to get into the BS of some of those, they're BS charges because it's his wife. And that was a whole, I'm not going to get, it's an interesting, if you've not read about Jack Johnson, you can go online, probably find a documentary if you don't want to read about, but a fascinating character who lived life.
Yeah, his Unforgivable Blackness is on YouTube now, so you can watch
excellent.
it. Very, very fascinating.
So 79, that because you played it, and that was the age too, where you're probably really into sports.
Yep.
You're a Pirates fan, makes sense. What was one of everyone always asks what's one of the fun things. What was a real difficult team to rate, or that, you just couldn't, obviously you did it because you did the season, but I would think even with like a fighter or the college football team, Anthony, you got it, because you're going to have a lot of them to rate, Anthony, and you have a lot of baseball teams when you rate. There's got to be, you come up on one, you're like, oh God, they're just so, I would say bad, or, bad, and you have to make them not good, but you have, it's like people are like, oh, the 62 Mets. Listen, I played the 62 Mets in a lot of baseball sims. They're horrible. And after a while, you kind of get sick of getting kicked in the nuts when you're playing them. You're like, oh God, can I just take Ron Guidry from 1978 and just put him on this team? I mean, just let me win a ball game now and then, So what was a difficult team? I don't know if that's a difficult team to rate. And like, I don't know, maybe because they're maybe too good or too bad or just.
Yeah, the 69 Mets are probably the one that's hardest to get right because
they don't do anything great. They have good pitching.
Yeah. And
I'm just going to give you my little example. That's brilliant. I was making teams for the old Fran Tarkenton football. I said, I want to play the 1958 championship game over. Well, when you look at the New York Giants stats, I know they went to the championship. I know they beat Jim Brown and the Cleveland Browns 3 times. I can read. You look at the Giants stats, Anthony and Joe, they don't do anything special at all. They somehow just won. I guess this is the way. This is my question. Should be put. How do you convey that trait? And I think that's part of the 69 Mets because their hitting was it's okay. They had good pitching, but. So that makes sense though. That makes sense.
I don't think I did a very good job, to be honest, but
but I'm going to tell you something. When you play the 69 Mets in a lot of card and dice games, they don't win like they won in real life. And I think a lot of that has to do with nothing about people creating it. That's tough to capture. A team that just somehow wins.
Right.
I think actually Joe did a really good job with the Mets because the key to their season, I mean, they had multiple players that were just basically average or above average step through at big times, but it was their pitching with Seaver and Kuzman. Yeah. And I think the engine of Payoff Pitch captures that really well, by the odds of tough and whatnot coming up.
Because it's pitcher batter interaction. So excellent points, Anthony. What was your most difficult fighter to rate?
One that's tough and one that probably gets the most criticism is George Foreman. And
I know why, because but again, I'm gonna everyone I'm citing, I'm gonna get to throw stuff at me now. I don't care. Here's the point: when you buy Glory Days boxing set, there's a lot of great fighters. So when you're putting great fighters against great fighters, that's going to be a little skewed's not the right word, but George Foreman in his first incarnation got tired. Yes, go ahead and explain because I know it's yeah.
And that I rated him based on the prime years of his career, pretty much.
Yeah, it's not a combination of two, correct?
Yeah. I think when I do the last Real Fighter set, I will make an older George Foreman, because it's not that he had more stamina, it's that he paced himself better.
Yeah.
And the key thing with a boxer, and I know from doing the sport, is the less thickly muscled you are, the more it helps you. And you'll see, I mean, Wilder and Fury was a great example. Fury looks like a guy, if he wasn't 6'9", if he was 6 foot, you'd walk into a bar and say, I could kick his ass. Deontay Wilder, you wouldn't touch, because he looks like a Hercules, you know. But it makes a difference when you're thick muscle like George was early in his career. You fatigue quicker, and that's why fights like you know, with Ali, and then especially the fight that he had against Jimmy Young.
In Puerto
He
Rico,
should have demolished Jimmy Young, but Jimmy Young stayed away, made it to deep water, and was able to take him out.
Yeah. But that is, because the thing with the George Foreman card is he's a devastating puncher, and if he hits you early, he can still get you. But again, if you're playing him, I think what people are talking about, because I think a couple of people played Forbid Frazier, it played it over. And if he didn't get Frazier early, Frazier's stamina got him. But in reality, if he didn't get Frazier early, Frazier's stamina got him. He just got Frazier early in reality.
And I actually made an optional trait to apply to that matchup, and then to enable that to be, it was a shorty trait to enable that matchup to be more realistic. And sometimes you have to do that in house rule stuff. And, you know, usually it plays out as it should, but you know, there's variables, and if Joe Frazier makes it past 4 rounds with Foreman in glory days, he's probably going to beat him.
Yeah. And again, it's a game, it's fun, and it's a brilliant game. So, but yeah, I agree with you. That's a tough one to do, because you can never make everything. I don't want the game to be exactly perfect's not the right word. I don't want everything to play out the same way anyway. I know what real life happens, so I don't want that. That's just me. Let's go back to the chat real quick. It's a lively chat. RJL says hello to everyone. Check out that Robert channel. Robbie Wartburg would love to see Richard Hanna pick up what a hockey game. That would be interesting. Richard Hanna does a marvelous job. Bernard is here. Strong. Would love to see Glory Days Boxing on PC. Yes, we would.
I would also love to see that. And the programmer I was working with, again, unfortunately had life issues come up. And, you know, so that's not going to continue. I've reached out to somebody else. And I know Joe can probably attest too, because I think he made a couple
I'm going to ask Joe, because a lot of people have asked in the community, when is Payoff Pitch going to have a PC game? Is there any thought of that? And if you do have a thought of that, please let us roll our own dice to input them if we have that option, because that's always fun.
Yeah, that is a good option. There's been several attempts, to be honest. I try not to announce them because I don't want to get anyone's hopes up. But
right.
But yeah, there may be something in the works. Maybe later this year I can announce something.
I think, and again, I'm not taking away from card and dice. I love card and dice. Don't get me wrong. But sometimes you come. Okay. I have 2 dogs and 2 cats. This is new to me because my fiance moved in and the kids. So the door stays shut now. I used to love the cat coming in here, but if I went to and cat's all up, I'm like, oh God, no. But sometimes when you just come home from work and you get done doing things around the house, I sit down, and I always have my Glory Days Boxing usually right here. Sometimes I'll roll a game, and other times I want to do something else. Because I listen to a lot of YouTube and I'm playing, I'm rolling a game, or I'm doing this. It just gives another option. And me personally, I don't think it takes away either way how you want to play. Now, it has to be feasible for the person or company to create the PC game. It has to be, can it be within the way they see it in their budget and so on and so forth. But yeah, it's just another fun option. And I know a lot of people said they'd like to see it because it is a good game. It's an excellent game. The interaction between, I know I keep saying it, but it's true in my opinion, the pitcher and batter. Captain in Comics says hello to everyone. Our good friend Matt, Steeler fan 1933, says hello to everybody. Brian Patterson says hello. Sports Time Machine. Joe, in 1921, Babe Ruth Payoff Pitch, there is a home run on the
Patient.
Any thoughts of doing that with 2001 Barry Bonds card? Interesting.
That was good. That was my intention, but he actually doesn't need it
Because he hit so many.
Yeah, well, and also everyone hit so many that year, so the pitchers all give up a lot of home runs.
Yeah.
So if Bonds was in 1921, he definitely would have the same home run impatient. But I was going to give him one, but then I couldn't even get him to max out his wheelhouse, so it didn't make sense to give him one.
I was going to ask on that too, like with the current seasons, like 2021, with the high volume of strikeouts. Are you able to handle that basically with the placement of tough on the pitcher's cards, or do you have any overflow on batter's cards too?
No. No, it's the strikeouts are easier to scale up than home runs are, but home runs for Ruth, just because he hit so many compared to the rest of the league, it was hard to.
Yeah, that 1921 Babe Ruth card is incredible. It's amazing.
Thanks. 77 Ron Guidry was great. 78 Ron Guidry was great too, Bud W. I think 78 was Ron Guidry. You know what's funny about Ron Guidry? 76, he's out of the bullpen. 77, he starts to start more. 78, he's phenomenal. And I forgot how good he was in the early to mid 80s. How good he actually was. How close those Yankee teams in that time. I mean, they went to the World Series or when they won the division, but those teams, the last years of Billy Martin there, right? Those teams were pretty close. I mean, I forgot they won 90. I forgot what year it was. They won 90 something games, and if they, I forgot how good. See, I always remember 78 Guidry, 77 Guidry, and like 8, but he was a good pitcher up until the mid 80s and that's a great point there. Jake Cruz says hello. MV again from the UK. We know that, aka Mouse in the House. He says hello to Joe and myself. Midlife Crisis. Joe, what was the inspiration to make the dead ball era?
Oh, it's just people ask for it. So,
are you surprised how many people ask for dead ball? Because I was surprised when I first got into this community how many people enjoy dead ball. I'm not going to mention anyone's name. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I'll have at least one more dead ball season coming out soon too. So I don't want to announce anything because
because it might change.
Yeah. I would spam the Delphi forums with 1908.
Yeah, I've heard that one come up a lot recently, so I'm gonna have to put that on the list sometime.
Midlife Crisis has 1889, I think. So was that your first dead ball season you did?
No. Well, no. 1921 was the first one, and then I did 1889.
How do you find it difficult to research, say, a season like? I know there's stats out there. Baseball stats are pretty well kept, but
for the most part, but not 100%.
Is it difficult? Because Anthony, we've always talked about how it's amazing when it comes to boxing, how much old fight footage, film footage you can find on YouTube. It's incredible. But yet there's not a lot, I think there's some Babe Ruth stuff of him having batting practice, and
right.
There's not a lot of, I mean, everyone knows that's a bad example, but I guess the example being how you can find a lot of great old fights, decent fight film footage.
On YouTube, yeah.
Yeah, and that's amazing. I love it. Steeler Fan 1933. Ironically, the first boxing documentary that I watched upon purchasing Glory Days Boxing was Unforgivable Blackness, the Jack Johnson story. A very good documentary and interested me particularly because I have spent a lot of time in Galveston. John DFW. I recently played the 1969 Mets, and on paper, nothing special. But you know what? In real life, they won the World Series, and that's all that matters. But it's tough. I know. And again, I fooled around making some football seasons and teams. I'm sorry, with Fran Tarkenton football. And when you come across, I'm not going to say an anomaly. It's difficult My example for baseball would be, because I'm a Red Sox fan, in 1988, they had Morgan Magic. Larry Parrish got cut from the Texas Rangers, and I'm probably sure it's his last year in baseball. I don't think he played after 88. The Red Sox picked him up because they're just looking for lightning in a bottle. And for like 3 weeks, it seemed, they had lightning in the bottle, and he helped them with this Morgan Magic. But if you played, like, I guess you could roll the dice in any game or any PC game, click the buttons and go through, and you could get that. But you're not going to really get that 3 weeks out of Larry Parrish, I don't think. And again, that's just an example of a player getting hot. It doesn't convey through his stats because he was so bad prior and after. But those 3, what seemed to me in my head, I'm remembering back in those 3 weeks, maybe it was longer, slightly shorter, but it was, I remember he'd hit the green monster, and the announcers would always say, and he'd get a single, guys. He'd get a single. He hit the ball so hard. And he go anywhere else, it's out, because he would hit line shots. But it's tough when there's nothing special. I'll tell you, go look up the 58 Giants. They don't run the ball outstanding. They don't throw the ball outstanding. Their defense is solid. But the Colts were better in every aspect of the game. And like, I remember playing the game, and I was actually recording it. I played the second half offline because I'm like, who's going to want to watch this? It's already a massacre, because no one's going to want to watch this. But I finished it. It was a massacre. And I thought I fairly rated the teams. 2001 Pats probably hard team to card. The first year they won with Brady. Really? Yeah. Again, they had a pretty good defense, though. They ran the ball okay. Again, they just won. And again, that's something that's tough to capture in any type of game. Richard Butler, the 69 Mets were, he's saying, really not that good. Their championship was a fluke. Great pick. Well, they won, Richard. When you win, you win. No one's a fluke when you win. I understand what you're saying. And I know people are going, Baltimore's the better team. No, they weren't. They didn't win. It was settled on the field. I understand when people say that. They didn't win. Zalapsky Smurf, hello. Love both Payoff Pitch and Glory Days Boxing. Looking forward to the college football game, Anthony.
Thank you.
MV. Hi, Anthony. Will there be a how to create a fighter guide soon? I would love to create more British fighters. Thank you.
Yes, that will be the next freebie that I do for the boxing game. Not making promises, but more than likely, definitely at some point this year. So,
but you also,
I've got, the thing with that is, if you look at my spreadsheets, I look like some strange guy in a lab because I've got crap all over the place. So to me, it's just organizing that, making it easy to understand and follow.
But you have to also, in a way, both of you have to protect your formula in a way. What don't you say?
With boxing, not so much, because again, it's so subjective, and that's what a lot of it is. I'll start out with 3 different tiers of fighters and then move them around within that tier.
Gotcha.
And, and then you've got you take general numbers based on percentage of knockouts as an example, and then you have to tweak it based on level of competition.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of that, and the formulas, like the only real set formula I use is I have different punch volumes for the 3 tiers of fighters. And I don't have any problem releasing that.
Okay, cool. No, I know, because some they want to protect their way they do things, and I understand that. And MV just says, and again, he brings up, you like to make Shane Neary, Billy Schwer, Colin McMillan. Shane Neary was an action fighter. Billy Schwer was he was was he junior lightweight or featherweight? Billy Schwer.
It was feather, I think.
Yeah. Shane Neary fought a war with Mickey Ward, and I think that fight was on ESPN overseas, and that was a fun. It was for like the
Mickey Ward is a war every time he fights.
Yeah. Colin McMillan, I'm not familiar with him. I'm not. Are you familiar with Colin McMillan, Anthony?
No.
That one I'm not familiar with. So, how when you came up that you're going to make your game, Joe, and then you decided I need to distribute it. How? Because you have your own site, and like Anthony, like you said, you guys work together in Glory Days Boxing. He's distributed SidelineStrategies.com, which Payoff pitch link provided in the chat and on the page. How did you decide I made the game. I want to see if other people like it. And, and then how do you come up with because Anthony, you want a price point that people, you want them fair and you want people to purchase. How does all of that come into, because you have great, I guess the whole thing is like, you and Anthony have great card stock, and that's what's very impressive along with the game. How did you, when you first started, and Anthony, the question goes to you, when you first started, there's got to be all kinds of things going through your head on how much, okay, it costs X amount to do this, X amount to do that. I got to ship, I got to do this. So I would say to both of you, that's probably a really difficult thing to do.
Yeah, it can be.
Yeah.
What I was kind of lucky. About 20 years ago, I was working with Jeff Downey from Downey Games.
Okay.
And he had reached out to. I'm not sure. I don't remember how we got hooked up, but I was helping him with some of his games behind the scenes, and originally my sumo game was released for a short time on Downey Games, and then I think most people know he had some health problems for a while, and he had to step away, and his sons were taking care of the site and the games, and so I was kind of forced to go off on my own. But the baseball game was supposed to be released
Originally?
in games.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but then when that didn't work out, I reached out to a couple different people. The game's been published by others on the printed version anyway. I've always sold the PDF on my site, but then I think it was like 2017 I started printing the game locally, and I actually had to take it to several printers in the area before I found one that would even do it.
Really?
And, yeah, and thankfully he did, because he's very reasonable. Everyone else wanted to charge twice as much as he does.
Yeah, and then it becomes non-feasible to sell.
Yeah, because I can't. I mean, it might be a good game, but no one's gonna, spend $100 on it. So, and I think Anthony's the same way. It's not like we're trying to become millionaires or anything. We just charge what we need to make it worthwhile.
Absolutely. You guys put your time and effort in, and it brings a lot of joy to a lot of people. So I absolutely agree. Now, Solapsky Smurf had asked, and you did answer this, but he wasn't in here yet. He asked the 2021 season.
Yeah, it should be later this month. Yeah.
So later this month, Zalapsky Smurf. Thank you very much, Joe, again. Because he wasn't here earlier. Because he does say, I'm sorry if it's been asked, but that's okay. We like that when people ask questions.
And to answers, yes, there will be at least one more set of those released as well, and that will also be a freebie.
People, I've talked about that, and you can actually, you do have you have strategy cards now. You have strategy cards, and I've downloaded them. I've never really used them because I just think the game plays so well that I've not used them. And again, if you want to use them, that's cool. I think I would use the other ones though.
I really made the strategy cards for people that might want to play head to head.
Head to head, yeah.
When you're using them solo, that's why I always suggest limit it to no more than 3 a fight, because it just skews the stats and the results too much.
No, I understand, Richard. I understand absolutely. When the stats don't when you look at the stats of a team, whether football, baseball, hockey, and somehow they just won. No, I understand fully. I'm not poking fun at no one. I understand. I'm just saying when you win, you win. No matter whether you like a team or a boxer or not, you got to give the do. When you win, you win. That's just my opinion. Brian Patterson, 1997 Indians, same comparison with the 69 Mets, except they lost. Yeah, they did lose. Atlanta beat them that year, I'm pretty sure. Payoff Pitch is a good game, John, DFW. I think, again, if you check out, there's a lot of videos. You go on YouTube, you can type in Payoff Pitch. I think Anthony has videos on it. I did one way back when. ID Gesture's done a ton of them, and quite a few other people. And again, what I like about Payoff Pitch is the batter-pitcher interaction. They're always involved. No knock against any other game. I play mostly Strat because that's, like Joe said, I grew up on it. It's something I'm familiar with, but I do play other games. The people say Strat's a 50-50, because 1 through 3 the batter, 4, 5, and 6 the pitcher. Even though it's not a definite result, but with Payoff Pitch, John, DFW, there's a batter pitcher interaction. There's tough, wheelhouse, and I'm forgetting the other one. But there's different categories, and the majority. And I don't have. Again, I have a PDF copy, so I'm not going to wave my little paper in there. But again, the card stock quality is this. This is Glory Days boxing, but listen to it. Same as Payoff Pitch. Listen, everyone. Listen. You could kill a snake with this. I'm telling you, you could. It just, and I tell you, it does make it in their colorful. Oh, I know what I wanted to ask Joe. You have, for Payoff Pitch, you have like a basic card, like a game that's basic, or it looks like. And then you have righty lefties. I think you have two. Is it 2 or 3 different sort of versions of the game? I think it's 2. Righty lefty.
Yeah.
And then how do you find that some people just want to play? I don't want to say basic because it's the same game. But no righty lefty splits. They just enjoy it as much as.
Yeah, some.
Yeah.
But far and away, the left-right splits version is more popular.
Yeah.
I would say, like, depending on the year, but it's like almost 15-1.
I would say, yeah.
What people are looking for.
Interesting, because I wanted to ask that because I remembered how you had the. Do you ever? I'm trying to. You don't have a great team. You don't have a great team set. Is there a great team set?
No, not right now.
Is that something that would you think in the future, or is that not? And it's fine. I'm just curious. Does it not? You don't think it would interest? People.
It's mostly. When I first started, most people said they were interested in season sets, full seasons.
Yep.
And then, so when I designed the game, the way I set up the formulas in such a way that it's a lot easier to rate full seasons than it is to try to rate.
Because you have to change your thinking process. Because again, if you're playing the 27 Yankees against the 60, because I've done it a gazillion times against the 66 Dodgers, just because I like the contrast of the teams and the pitching match. Yeah, I know it's never going to happen, but for me, I like it. And again, it's a different way of rating and looking at. Yeah, so you're staying in the same mindset of how the teams played that year. And so, yeah, I can see that absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it's difficult to do for me. It's difficult to do like great teams because how do you rate one against the other? Because it's different, different, like you said, different eras. I mean, you can't just look at stats and say, well, 50 home runs this year is 20 home runs in 1940. It's just, there's a lot more involved.
I have to be honest with you. I don't like if a game does that, because to me, if you're playing a fictional what if matchup, to me, everyone's on a level playing field.
Yeah.
And I'll just give an example with a game. Where for ha-has, and I quick simmed it because I was just curious. And again, it's a game engine. It doesn't mean it's just a game engine. But I had the 27 Yankees, the 86 Mets. I think I threw the 67 Red Sox because I just love the 67 Red Sox. And whatever, some other, the Cubs team that won the World Series. So I just threw all these teams, good teams in there, and I just hit the season. And my whole point was I wanted to see how many home runs Babe Ruth hit. That's what I wanted to see because I thought it'd be fascinating. And I get it. The competition's better. And I kind of said it after I did it. I wish I saved the stats because I was so like, oh my God, and I deleted it. I should have saved it. Danny Heap hit more home runs than Babe Ruth. Somehow Danny Heap got into more games than Babe Ruth. I'm sitting there going, I get it what it was doing. It was saying, well, it was kind of averaging out, I guess, the seasons. And I don't want to see that when I do that. Because to me, in my mind, if Babe Ruth played now, he'd have the benefit, right? It's just my opinion. The benefit of the training, the benefit of everything. And he was a hell of a ball player already. So to me, he'd still be a home run hitter. That's just
right.
But again, it's hard to do. So I don't know. I always bring that up because it annoys me. I'm like, what? And I'm not a Yankee fan. I'm a Red Sox fan. But I like Babe Ruth and I like Lou Gehrig. I like Ron Guidry. I like Willie Randolph. They should have been Red Sox. Well, one was.
No.
So what Joe, what other before we go into other things, if you want to spend some more time, what other games are on Sideline Strategies? We've talked about Payoff Pitch, which is your most popular game and a well done game, a beautiful baseball game. Sumo wrestling. You have a SDG basketball, or is it SG?
Yep.
Okay. I bought that. Fun game. You don't have, but tell us what's on there because there's a game that's not on there anymore that I already mentioned. So I don't want to say that game.
Yeah. Well, for my own games, the basketball game, the baseball game, sumo game. I think that's all that I have out there right now.
Okay.
And then Anthony's Glory Days Boxing. And then there's a line of precision sports games.
Yep. Archery.
Yep. Rugby. Not lacrosse. Field hockey.
Yep.
I think. Those are all done by Paul. He lives in the UK. And he just sort of the same situation as Anthony. He just sends me the games and I put them up for him.
So I think that's great, though, that you're able to do that with Anthony and Paul in the UK because it gives them an avenue to distribute their game. It actually Anthony, you probably got your game out there faster because then you didn't have to go into the logistics. You do your shipping, but I mean, you don't have to go into the logistics of how all the sales sort of work. It's kind of done already, which is cool.
And website design. Yeah.
Was that difficult, Joe? The website, getting that up and running?
No, I had someone else do it.
You had someone else, yeah. Joe's like, piece of cake.
Yeah. No, I had a friend of mine set it up, and then I just, I figured out how to run it after, it was set up. But
I was going to ask you, Joe. You had you have some seasons that have as played score sheets all filled in with ratings and everything. Did you do all that yourself?
Yeah. Yes.
Wow.
I do, and I need to do that. I keep meaning to get back and do it for all the seasons I have. When I first started, I didn't do it, but then within the last couple of years, I figured out, I can actually do that, and it takes a few hours, but it's not, it's not anything overly complicated.
And that's a nice. So if you get the season, you can also get you don't have to look it up and do it yourself. You can download the score. Is that how that works, Joe? Yeah,
I usually put them on the site as a free download, and then
that's cool. Very cool.
You just download the file and print whatever game you want.
So do you have to do those manually, or do you have a program that extracts data?
No, I created a program. I'm fairly handy in Excel, so I created a program, and then someone pointed me in another direction to get the information, because I was pulling it from one place, but it's actually much easier, and he helped me get that. So
Excellent. Here's
but yeah, that's
Oh,
all.
go ahead, Joe. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. It's just like I said, it takes a couple hours to do a season, so my issue is always, well, when I have a couple hours, should I go back and create these score sheets, or should I work on a new season?
I was just going to say that. What do you choose? Yeah. Here's a really fun question, Todd B. How you doing, Todd? Question to Joe, but I think it's a fun question. We're all baseball fans. What is Joe's favorite 3 seasons in baseball? I'm going to answer that too, and we can all answer that. And everyone in the chat, that's a really fun question. I like that.
Yeah.
So your favorite 3 seasons? Well, 79. What I say?
Yeah, 79. Just because that was the first one that got me started. 1983. I'm not sure why. Maybe just the age I was, and it was after the Brewers won the AL pennant, and then went to the World Series in '82, and then probably 91 actually would be my next. So 79, 83, 91.
And why 91?
I think because the Pirates were making a comeback.
Yeah.
With Sid Bream and Barry Bonds and all those people.
79, 83, and 91. All right, before I lose mine, then I will go to Anthony. 60s, not that I was there, but 67 always fascinated me, just because I heard about it. Now you get older, I read when I would try to read everything about it when I was a kid, about the internet, way before the internet, and talk to my parents and my uncles, my cousins, anyone who's around. Tell me about 67. 1988, Morgan Magic. I know the Red Sox didn't win the pennant, but it was fun. It's one of my favorite baseball seasons. It's not one of their greatest teams. It's just they come out of nowhere and they play it hard. It was just fun. And I always like Joe Morgan. Walpole Joe. People go, who's your favorite Red Sox manager? I go, Walpole Joe. They go, but he didn't win. I go, he won 2 divisions. It was good enough for me when I was a kid, when I was a young adult. I loved Walt. He was a down-to-earth kind of guy, easy to talk. Like he seemed like he liked the fans liked him. And then I'd have to say, I go back. I'll say 2004, the Red Sox won. I'm torn. If I have to pick 3, and I don't like to pick, I'm not those type of pick your favorite, whatever, but because it's 3. And 75's right there, because that's like the first sort of World Series I remember as a very young kid. I remember everyone going nuts. I was awake as a child, I probably was sleeping. I woke up when everyone started screaming when Fisk hits the home run in the house. So I'm going to say 67, and I'm leaving off old seasons that I like to older. 67, 88, and 2004. What about you, Anthony?
Well, unlike Dave Gardner, 2 of my 3 include Yankees teams that didn't stink. So 19, you guys are all the same, you pack of thieves. But 1927, just because of the aura. And, obviously,
great.
1908, in my opinion, the 2 best pennant races, start to finish, that have ever happened in baseball history. Is 1908
the one with the guy makes the blooper play, the
Merkel play? Yeah. Fred Merkel. Mm-hmm. And then 1978, Bucky F. and Dent. Say no more.
Let's just mute Anthony now. I don't know who you are anymore. I don't know. Why 19? Okay, I'm good. Happy place. I still can't. I still 78 was, and some DF John. I always dyslexia kicks in. I start saying the other things backwards. John DFW. 61, great season. 80, another 1991. Brian Patterson, 79, 91, 95. D. Scott Howard, 1931, 1941, great season. 1965. Dodgers beat the Twins, and D. Scott Howard is a Dodger Koufax fan. Who can't be a fan of Sandy Koufax? Even if you don't like the Dodgers. Anthony maybe. But it's the left arm of God.
The best lefty of all time. Yeah.
That's my opinion. There's a lot of great pitchers, but 78 was one of those weird. The thing I remember, because that's the first season I really, really, really followed base. 77, 76, but 78 really the massacre in was it late August? The Boston Massacre, when the Yankees came in and they had already cut the lead to X amount of games, and all I kept thinking was, me and my friends, all we have to do is split. All we have to do is split. Because I think it was a 4-game series, I think. Or I think, because I kept going, we kept saying, just split. And then after you lose, and it could have been a 3-game series or whatever, after you lose, just take one. And I remember Carl Yastrzemski, it's a famous picture, just leaning against the green monster, like they're getting a crap kicked out. I forgot who hit the one. He's just leaning, like his head's down. He's leaning against the green monster, and just, again, great season if you're a Yankee fan. Great season for a baseball fan.
And actually, you guys did split. You split right out of the playoff picture, so you can take that.
I'm gonna mute. No, I'm kidding. Listen, I don't have to listen to 1918 anymore. I go to Fenway, and we for Yankee games, there'd be just as many Yankee fans going 1918. If anyone ever says that to me, I go 2004. Okay. But anyway, it's good fun. It's a good natured rivalry. Cutter historical. John DFW 66. I love 66 because of the Koufax. To me, it's incredible. Oh, I have a question about Degrom. I want your thoughts on Degrom for the Mets, because I don't think they use him right. That's all I hate that the poor guy doesn't win games. I don't understand. To me, he's the best pitcher in baseball. I watch Red Sox. I follow Yankees and Mets, right? And I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a Red Sox fan. I watch more close to full games for the Mets when DeGrom's pitching. And this is what I do. I'll pretend this is the remote control. As soon as they take DeGrom out, I go, click, because I don't want to watch anymore. Because I want to watch him pitch. Anyway, that's just me. I don't get how guys pitch 5 1/3 innings and 4 2/3. It drives me nuts. Anyway, that's just me. Cutter historical, 1993, 2015 because of the Jays, 2001 for how big that year was minus 9/11. Richard Butler, 64, 67, 75. 64, underrated world. I played that World Series card and dice. I think I played it basic because I don't have the advanced. I had the old set for Strat had these old sets and I bought them all. It was a big, old team. That is an underrated World Series for fun because that's the Yankees' last hurrah, right, Anthony? 64? Yeah, that's the Yankees' last hurrah. And the Cardinals, start to take off. And it's a really fun series. That's a good one. 67, of course, and 75. Great series. To be fair, Al, Bucky Dent's home run. No, I know it. Reggie Jackson's was. I know that. But it's the Bucky Dent one that sticks in our craw.
And D. Scott Howard, he sent probably one of the best pictures I've ever seen. Can you read that, Al?
Yeah. I saw it on the Facebook group page. He put it up there. Yeah.
You want to look at it some more, though?
No. No, I don't.
Okay.
And again, it's good natured. Roger Ward, 61. Another fascinating. You got Maris and Mantle. Maris hits 61 in 61. Mantle, what do you have? 55? 54?
54, I think.
And he was hurt.
Yeah,
He had some 68 the year the pitcher. Yeah, he was. 68 the year the pitcher. 1975, the World Series that brought baseball back because it was on a little slide there. Oh, that's okay, Cutter. Let's see what we got here. Brian Patterson, before I was born, 1954. Giants beat the Indians, correct? Yeah. The Indians won 100. Is that the team that won over 100 games?
100, I think they won 112.
Yeah, and the Giants swept them, I think. 68 the year the pitcher. Yankees, Tigers had a hell of a team in 61. Unbelievable. Yankees were just better. I don't know. 11. Is that Fadio? 11. 1968, McClain and Gibson. Kurt Flood misjudges Jim North's fly ball in the 7th. Tigers come back from 3 down. from 3 games to 1. Yep. 111 games the Indians won. That's a fun little. That was a thank you very much. Who asked that? I can't remember. That was, Todd B. I think, guys. That was awesome. That's a great question. What are your thoughts on, in general, baseball, modern baseball? I'll give you my thoughts. I still pay attention. I watch and this, and I'm still a Red Sox fan. Everyone complains about the shifts. Okay, I can see that. But here's my thing with that. Hit the ball the other way. It drives me nuts. When you see, and again, I understand a pitcher is going to pitch to the shift, but they don't always do it. I've watched. They're not that good. The ball goes to the outside. What does the lefty try to do? I'm going to smack it through the right side of the – no. Punch the ball the other way. Get the single, the double, whatever. That's the one thing I disagreed with Ted Williams. I never thought I'd say I disagree with anything with Ted Williams, but they asked, why don't you – they go, because he could hit the other way. He could hit wherever he wanted. And I forgot what team would always shift on him. And they go, why don't you hit the other way, Ted, on that? And he goes, no. Then they win. I'm going to hit it.
I think it was Cleveland. And
was it Cleveland who put the shift there? Because he goes, I'm going to hit it through
two guys
the shift.
over there.
I'm going to hit it over the shift. I'm going to hit it out of the ballpark over the shift. Because he just didn't want to. He goes, they kept going, Ted, why don't you hit it the other way? And he goes, oh. No. That's the one thing I disagree with good old Teddy. I love Teddy. Yeah, everyone tries to pull the ball and lift it out of the ballpark. There's no stealing anymore. I love the stolen base. That was fun. That's why people are like, you like Billy Martin? Hell yeah, I like Billy Martin. When he was with the A's, I was enthralled. NBC, the game of the week, if we had the doubleheader, I always knew it was going to be the A's if they were playing a Saturday afternoon game because they were popular. I get to watch Billy Martin go Billy ball. Hit and run, no one does that anymore. That's fun. That's fun stuff. To me, baseball, and I'm over-exaggerating this a bit, it's like a glorified wiffle ball game now, sort of. You strike out, or you hit a homer, or you walk. Those are all strikeouts, home runs, exciting. I don't want to see the whole game like that. Strikeouts are insane. My friend Chris Anderson and I looked up Babe Ruth's strikeout numbers in one of his worst years. And he struck out nothing like some of these guys. But you have to understand, he still hit for average and a gazillion homers. I don't know. What is your thought? And then on pitching. What are your thoughts on just baseball, the modern game? Do you like it? I mean, we all still like baseball, but I mean, I'm just curious. What are your thoughts? We'll start with Anthony and then Joe. And then the chat.
Love baseball. The modern game is boring. It really is. It's slow.
Yep.
Too many strikeouts and walks are okay, but it seems if you compare American baseball to like the baseball they play in Japan or even in Korea, it's just not as fundamentally sound or as fundamentally based as those leagues are. I miss that. I miss seeing triples. I miss the stolen base, and I don't know what the answer is, but yeah, I still watch it. It's just not as exciting as it used to be to me.
I agree. And I already gave my opinion, so I'm not going to waste too much time on that. But I agree. It's just I love home runs. I love strikeouts. It's too much of it. There's no. Alex Rodriguez was doing a game for ESPN, and I never seen him call a game. I've seen him do studio shows, but I'm going to be honest. I was over at Teresa's house a couple of years back. And we're watching Sunday. The Red Sox, Yankees was a good game, and I was just fascinated listening to Alex Rodriguez call the game. Like give his play-by-play. I'm sorry, the color commentary. Because when he does the studio show, he's kind of funny, and he's always, whether you like him or not, he says interesting things that make sense. But he goes, I don't understand why the Red Sox. He goes, you got a guy at second. It was extra. Was it the strike year? I mean the COVID thing. Is it over? No, it couldn't. It was the year after that. That's what's it called. Anyway, they had a guy at second with no outs, right? A run wins the game, right? He goes, you got a guy at the plate. You should be who can actually bunt, but yet they don't put the bunt on. And then he was going through all through the game. I'm like, it was just basic baseball. I go, if he gets it, and again, why don't teams get it? I don't understand it. But that's just me anyhow. But I agree with you, Anthony. It's not. I pay attention to it still, but I find myself more where about 5-6 years back, maybe 7, I used to get the baseball package and consume baseball, right? Now it's like, okay, the game, let me look at the stats.
Well, the athleticism in the game is so much better than it's ever been, but you don't get to see it because the ball's not in play very much anymore.
Well, it's. I also don't agree with. I'm not a big taking pitches guy unless the pitcher is notorious for like he doesn't throw strikes. There was a few years back it drove me nuts. I'd watch the Red Sox. They were all into the Billy Bean thing, which is I get the concept. I understand the concept of Moneyball. I get it. It makes sense. But you shouldn't. If your team's not built that way or whatever, if you got guys who can hit, let them hit. I remember Jim Rice post pre-games. He's sitting there going, they go, Jim, did you take pitches? I'm like, no. He goes, the first pitch could be the pitch I want. I'm going to swing. If I like the pitch, I'm swinging. And that's my philosophy. Because the Red Sox those years, how many guys fell behind 0-2, 1-2, swing. And then you're not going to give in. If you're the pitcher, why am I going to give in? I got you 0-2. I'm not giving you anything good. But what are your thoughts, Joe, on modern baseball?
Yeah, I still watch. The Brewers have been good, so that's makes it easy to turn the game on and enjoy it sometimes. But no, I much prefer the '80s style of play than current. So, but that's just the game was just more fun to watch in the '70s and '80s than it is now.
I'm going to be honest with you. Everyone goes, oh, because like some people say, oh, you're nostalgic. No, it's just I guess it is nostalgia if I like it the way it was played then. But I liked Ricky Henderson was fun to watch. Anyone stealing bases, I always loved because the Red Sox never stole bases. So I always was enthralled with people who stole bases. Billy Ball was my favorite thing besides I love Billy Ball. I love that he was bigger than life. I'm a big Billy Martin fan. I always want him to come manage the Red Sox. He probably got fired 3 games into it, arguing with ownership, but I love that he wanted to win at all costs. And again, he went overboard at times. I get that, but it was the way he got his teams to play with enthusiasm. Especially the Oakland A's were fun in that short period of time. And again, he wears out his welcome. He burns out and stuff like that. But that was fun. I just don't I don't understand why if mind-numbing to me, if the third baseman's playing short and there literally is no one over there, you'd think someone would go, hey, maybe if we practice this little slap bunt, because it's not even I could do that. And I was a horrible hitter in high school. Like I could always do that, right? You might get a hit. And if you do it enough, they're going to have to start shifting more, play normal. I don't know. You're a big dead ball fan, Anthony. Imagine if they put a shift, pick whatever team you want out of dead ball that you like, right? Imagine if they put the third baseman over at short. What would they brought it up. SGJ Jamie, good friend of the community and the channel. Hello. It was Ty Cobb Ted hitting in the shift drove Ty Cobb crazy. So we'll use Ty Cobb as an example. What would Ty Cobb do if the third baseman was playing short?
Hit 460. I mean, yeah, it's and again, pitchers back then didn't throw as hard, but the year escapes me off the top of my head, but it was when Nap Lajoie and Ty Cobb were in a neck-and-neck race for the batting title. I think it was 1910. I don't know for sure. But they used to get a Chalmers automobile.
Nap Lajoie, New York Giant? No.
Huh?
No.
Who?
The second player you named. What team did he play for?
Lajoie played on Cleveland.
Okay.
So they were tied going into the last day of the season, and the St. Louis Browns, they played their third baseman back. And Lajoie went 5 for 5, bunting the ball to third base, So it just again, pitchers threw slower a lot of the times back then, obviously, but batters also had a bit of control of the bat and choke up. Cobb hit with a split hand grip, so they were able to take advantage of that. And to me, they would do the same thing today to the shift that, the example there on that last day of the season in the batting race.
Matt, I can only imagine that's a great, I never heard of that. That's awesome. I love that story because now I imagine Ty Cobb showing up at the third baseman's house going, ding dong, boom.
And I think it was Jimmy Austin was a third baseman, and he was ordered to do that because just people hated Cobb so much.
Yeah, that's a great story. I don't know. That's just my feeling. And the pitching drives me nuts nowadays with, the fifth starter is now a bullpen game. There's a reason why those guys pitch in the bullpen. They're not good as a starter. Here's my other thing. Well, the bullpen's starting to get worn down. Like the Red Sox, they'll say that. I go, yeah, because your starters go 4 innings because you don't let them pitch. They get in any kind of trouble. They don't know how to get out of it. And it's like, okay, let's go to the bullpen. That's why they're tired. Not brain surgery here. And sometimes people say, oh, you can't go back to the old ways. Not that long ago, Nolan Ryan, when he was with the Rangers, I forgot what capacity, but he had decision-making capacity. I don't know if it was president. He had a title. And he said, our pitchers are going to pitch, and we're going to start it in the minor leagues. And he goes, I don't want pitch counts. I want the player and the coach to communicate. I'm paraphrasing. I'm summarizing the ways. If you're tired, you tell your coach, your manager, I'm tired, my arm. Okay. If he's not pitching well, you have eyes, take him out. He goes, but other than that, I want people to pitch because it's the only way they're going to gain their pitch strength, their arm strength, and learn how to pitch. Degrom, I love him. And I get it. He gets hurt. So my point being, like we were talking, my friend Chris Anderson at work and myself, we were laughing. They go, they do all this stuff to protect Degrom, but yet he still gets hurt. Maybe if they let him pitch, he doesn't get hurt. I mean, with when he had the arm issues, I think the last issue was something different. I think he was running the bases or something. I don't remember that, but
part of that is pitchers throw now. It's all about velocity. That you don't see guys that actually pitch.
Right. Great point. There's
Maddox didn't have to throw 98 miles an hour, and he's in the Hall of Fame and one of the better pitchers of the modern era. He was a mid-'80s guy.
And the other thing is, that's funny you say that because we were also talking at work, like they go, oh, that's a breaking pitch. I go, he threw it 90 miles an hour. How the hell is that a breaking? To me, a breaking pitch is something where the speed is really, you're trying to catch the guy off. I'm like, it's 90 mile an hour, and they call it a slider. To me, it's a fastball in the outside corner. Don't look like a slider to me. I don't know. I still enjoy baseball, but I think that's why people love baseball or whatever. We're talking baseball. So baseball sim games such as Payoff Pitch, which can be purchased at sidelinestrategies.com, or Glory Days Boxing. You want to go back to the Glory Days. It's sidelinestrategies.com. Both fabulous games. Both fabulous people here. Go buy their games. Or as my new favorite wrestler, Danhausen, would say, or be cursed. I'm just kidding. Yes,
that's right. Cutter historical. That was actually, you're right. He went 8 for 8 in a double header on the last day of the season.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. That is funny. Todd B. LaJoy, I think, won a car for the batting title. I hope he let the Washington third baseman drive it off on his off days. That's funny. Great stuff. Alan Griggy, how you doing? Zalapsky Smurf. The part that makes it boring is the strategy now that it's better to strike out with men on base and avoid multiple outs, getting men. Yeah, again, that's I agree. And listen, there are times where Jim Rice would come up towards the end of his career. I'm like, oh God, don't hit into a double play, just strike out. You know what I mean? If you're not going to get a hit, just strike out. I'd rather. And that's the same thing like Earl Weaver said, I wait for the 3-run homer. I never liked that either. I like, if I can create a run, I'm going to create a run. Some teams are not built that way. I get that. But it just seems to me teams could win a few more games if they just played once in a while. And when the situation dictates, I'm not saying to play dead ball. I'm not saying to play billy ball. But when the situation dictates and you have the player at the plate who can actually possibly lay the bunt down, I'm not even talking about hit and run. I don't think they could hit and run anymore because people just don't make contact. I don't know. I like the go kind of baseball. It's fun. I like home runs too, but I think they are better athletically. They're better. The training, right? The training's better. The diet's better. Are they necessarily better baseball players? If you took players from 2021, the season that just passed, and you move them back to 1961, and they have to do what they did in 60. You're not pumping iron. You're not doing this. You might have to work a job in the off season. I'm not saying a physical job, but you might actually do have to do something in the off season because you're not getting paid a ton of money. Now you're putting them in the same boat. Some of these guys wouldn't even be playing. There weren't as many teams.
I don't think half of them could keep up with Mickey Mantle's drinking
No.
for the game, so that would be a problem too.
No. Miss Vince Coleman, Tim Raines, Ricky Henderson, absolutely. Ron LaFleur. Mm-hmm. That was another one. But I digress a lot. So, but I'm just saying, I'm just curious how your thoughts on it. And I think that's why people enjoy bringing their games to their tabletop or their PC, because you can play your favorite seasons, your favorite type, and you can play your way. I played Billy Ball on PC. It's tough to do it with card and dice because you can't manipulate it as much as you can with a PC, where I can sit there and go. I've had people complain in leave messages going, well, they didn't play that way. I don't want to lose the same amount of games. I'm trying to win, I don't want to be custard at the Little Bighorn. I'm going to try something different. So, again, they're all for fun anyway. Dave Gardner, I'm always bunting when I play, probably too much. And you don't want to see it too much, but it's fun. I don't know. But anyhow. All right, now let's talk. You're a wrestling fan, Joe? Like wrestling?
I used to, yeah. I stopped following a couple years ago.
What did you? Because I love old school wrestling, and
right.
Anthony said I should watch AEW, and I have watched some AEW, and I have to say I do like it. Still too many false finishes, but I do like it, and I appreciate Anthony that you said, hey, and what's it, MFJ? Is that his name? MJF. Jesus.
He's a throwback.
He's a throwback. He's a good. He is the heel of heels. Good stuff. FTR, I like that tag team. Anyway, so again, what did you like? Because I just want to talk a little wrestling, and then we'll talk whatever, and then we'll leave. What kind of wrestling did you watch? Was it WWF or was it Midwest was AWA? I think, right?
Me?
Or no, Joe.
Oh.
Yeah, I watched WWF, WCW,
yep,
and then World Class in Texas.
Oh yeah, World Class.
Yeah.
World Class did some crazy stuff. What the hell was that? They were in Texas Stadium. Scaffold. The scaffold match.
Scaffold match, yeah.
And I remember I was so excited to see that, and then I'm watching it, and I'm like, wow, this is really boring because these guys don't want to fall from the scaffold, and they're literally doing this sitting down.
Right.
That was kind of funny,
Yeah.
But
World Class was probably my favorite. The short-lived UWF, I stayed up. That was shown late Sunday nights, like at 11, I think. I'd always stay up and watch.
I've watched some old UWF matches on YouTube because you can find it was good stuff. I never even knew about them, but that was good stuff then.
Yeah,
that was fun.
I really enjoyed it for when it started.
People like, it's fake. I'm like, yeah, I know it's fake. I knew it was fake when I was like 9.
I mean, it's scripted who wins and loses, but they still have to go out there and perform. So
yep. And Anthony, what was when you do your wrestling game? It's going to be based on territories.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, like old.
That would be the sets like I'd release Georgia, then World Class, Mid South. To me that was the golden age of wrestling. And like you said, you knew that guys could not go out there night after night and do that to each other, but they kept it protected just enough that you were just kind of like, and you got into it. Now it's like watching stuntmen a lot of the time. But
yeah. The thing with AEW, and it's too bad because some of those guys are really. They could have done it in the old days. Some of those guys, the shtick they have. I get the flack that the Young Bucks get, but you know what? They perform pretty well. The only thing, too much high flying stuff. That stuff annoys me.
Their matches are like watching ballet. It's
a little too much of that. I like that they have Danielson now in the AEW. I hope they get Claudio Cesaro. I hope he goes there.
And Tony Khan just bought Ring of Honor.
Ring of Honor.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know how many wrestlers are left in the ring because they didn't wrestle last year. But it must have some contracts, I guess. I don't know. But I don't know. It was fun. I'm glad you asked me because I did. When you said that guy, I think a couple of days later after you said you got to watch that guy, I went on YouTube and I said, I showed Teresa. I go, oh my God, this guy's awesome. I'm going, and he stays in character, even if he's doing a non-wrestling interview, right, on a YouTube podcast. I mean, it's still a wrestling interview, but it's not an AEW thing. Or he just stays in, and he is a jerk. And he tries it. He just, And
you see on YouTube, he's doing like autograph signings, and little kids come up to him.
He's mean to them. He's absolutely horrible.
He's like, your dad wishes he pulled out.
He's horrible. He is horrible to them. Yeah. And the kids laugh. I don't know how he stayed in character, and he almost he smiled a little bit, but there was a person in a wheelchair comes up, and I'm like, there's no way he's going to be mean to this person, but he stayed in character, and that's what the person wanted. Like he had the shirt saying like MJF sucks or whatever. Yeah. And so he's sitting there going, because I'm better than you. I'm sitting there, oh my God. And the guy started laughing. And he actually kind of broke us because I think he broke it. Because the guy, the fan was getting it, like enjoying that he was being lambasted by him. And when you go up to him, he's going to whammy you. So you have to enjoy that. But
it's like going to one of those restaurants. Like there's this place in Vegas where you walk in and they insult you the whole time you're there.
Yeah, I mean, that's not my thing, but that would be, it's just
it's the same thing.
I don't know. It was just fun to watch.
Taz's kid Hook, he's going to be really good too.
Great gimmick.
Yeah,
great, and he can wrestle. I like what they're doing with him.
He mixes in real life judo throws, and
he looks sharp. There's another. Again, what does he go? 190, maybe 188, 185.
Probably 195, 200.
Yeah, well built, strong. He picks. You watch him pick up someone. He can do it. That's a pretty interesting. I like that storyline where I didn't follow it, so I don't know exactly. But I take it he broke away from the training people or something because that guy's always throwing people at him to try to beat him.
Yeah,
whoever that other guy is. Now that's Taz's kid for real, or is that
his real life kid? Yeah.
Well, they got an interesting thing going there. I wonder how long they go with that though. I think you go with it until people don't like it anymore. It's people go nuts for it. He comes out, they're like hook. The difference, and then we'll get off the wrestling chat. I'm just excited I can talk some wrestling. And then Nurse Teresa's bowling, and she's probably happy. Like if she calls him, I'm talking. Okay, I'm not coming home yet. The difference with what I see with WWE and AEW, I know they're both fake, obviously, right? I mean, result-wise, they have to still perform. In AEW, I kind of understand what they're, like with certain storylines, what they're going with. Nurse Teresa will tell you, like when they do that magic crap, I get up and I walk away. I don't care who's wrestling. I wait till that nonsense is over, like the ring entrances and all that. I don't need it. Because the guys who are doing that can actually wrestle, and I'll come sit back down and I'll watch it and I'll enjoy it. The WWE makes no sense. The fans don't get into it. Like at least AEW, it's almost you get just that little bit of like the fans are actually interacting not because someone's telling them to interact, like flashing something, but they're interacting. And I'm glad you actually mentioned that because I've enjoyed it. And you know what? Life is short. Enjoy it. It's good stuff. If you enjoy that. Anyhow, that's my wrestling stuff, and I'm done with it. But really, both of you come out with a wrestling game, I'll buy them both. What else do you want to go anywhere else, or before we go? We have a lively chat here. Let me see what we get in here. Oh, here's it. Zalapsky Smurf. How do you grade modern players bunting? You can't. No one bunts. That's a great question. D. Everyone's a D. I don't remember the last time I saw someone bunt.
I don't think I saw one bunt by a non-pitcher last season. But I
Yeah,
could
you're right, a
remember.
pitcher. Yeah.
You know,
How
and
do
now
you
we'll be universal DH now, which I actually kind of like.
I like that. You know why? Because here's the thing. Agree, disagree, it's fine. Maybe they let the pitchers pitch a little more.
Right.
And you're not pinch hitting. To be honest with you, they'll say, "Oh, taking the strategy out of the game." There is no strategy in the National League anymore. They just bring a guy up who's going to swing.
Yep.
It's.
Dave Kingman would love to play in the league now.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it.
Great point. Because, hello, honey.
Hi, honey.
How'd you do? We're online.
I know.
Okay. You want to talk wrestling?
No.
No, really. We'll talk wrestling. You want to talk wrestling?
No.
You sure?
No.
You don't want to talk Hook?
No.
Danhausen. Danhausen. We're big Danhausen fans. I like Danhausen. He makes me laugh. If you make me laugh, you're all right in my book. Did you win?
We won one game.
Get out. You have brought shame upon the family, shame upon the channel, shame upon Joe and Anthony.
They were all good. They were very close games.
Was that the young guys?
Huh?
Was it for first place this week?
No. We were second. They were first. We wasn't for no.
No. So Teresa's bowling team was like the 1978 Red Sox tonight. That's
Okay,
awesome.
that's it, Anthony. That's Anyway, I love you. And I love you too, Anthony. I love you, Joe. I just love her more.
But I do like AEW instead of WWE.
See, she even likes AEW better than WWE. We don't watch
Everyone
WWE.
does, yeah.
We like Roman Reigns.
That's all I'm gonna say.
That's all we're gonna say about wrestling. You want to talk some more wrestling?
No, that's.
Do you want to show them how 12-year-olds tongue kiss?
No.
Okay.
I just showed how I kick your butt on whatever that wrestling is.
No, we're not going to play Fire Pro Wrestling anymore because I never win against you. I don't know how you do those things, and I'm looking, and next thing I know, you have me in a judo death hold, and you're slamming me in my head over and over again, and I'm pinned. I don't want to play that game with you ever again. Ever. It's not fun.
No, I do. I kick his butt every time we play.
I let you win.
You do not.
I do too.
You're just as competitive as I am.
I don't know how she does it. I mean, the bell rings, and next thing I know, I'm in some kind of how did you even do that? I don't. And my guy's like submitting. I'm like, no, don't submit. Anyhow, all right.
It is kind of funny.
It is funny. Very cold out today. Hey, Anthony, what's the temperature where you're at?
Now?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a very frigid, probably 68, 69 right now.
It's like 17 out there right now.
17 degrees.
With the wind chill.
With the wind chill.
I put gas in my car.
Did you?
Yes.
I'll
show you how cold it is outside, honey. Let me touch it.
Okay, come here. I'm going to scream. Hold on. Get away.
My hands are like ice.
Yeah, well, you better warm those hands up before. Never mind. Probably inappropriate language there.
And I think you get kicked off YouTube.
Yeah, I'm going to get kicked off YouTube for that one. Anyhow, a little jocularity. I don't even remember what we were talking about, but anyhow.
Do you guys watch any of the NWA shows on YouTube?
YouTube?
Yeah.
I've watched. I'm glad you. That is really old school.
Yeah, I've
Sort
watched
of.
that recently.
I like Nick Aldis.
Yeah.
I like him.
Yep.
Oh God.
Trevor Murdoch.
Is he related to the other murder, or is that just a shtick? Anyway, he looks like him, sort of.
I don't know.
The one thing I wish, if you want to watch their matches regularly, I looked into it and I didn't feel like paying money to watch because I don't know. I do like when they put them up if it's Nick Aldis, and again, they're usually matches from a little farther back. But I don't understand how another organization didn't gobble him up. I don't get it. He can.
I think he's he's signed to an exclusive deal with.
Oh, is he?
We're gonna wrap him up.
I mean, he really. And again, I guess when he first came into wrestling, because when I first saw him, I was fascinated, so I started to try to read.
I listened to Jim Cornette's podcast, and he said that Pritchard or whoever does talent in the WWE didn't think Aldis was big time, which that's why the WWE sucks right now. But I could see him going to AEW when Khan gets a chance to sign him. Yeah,
I don't know, I don't know how old he is. So But no, I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, I like NWA, and I actually looked at. Oh God, it's a website, but that's where you would watch your shows. I forgot what it's called.
Fight TV.
And I
That's
was
where
like,
they do our jiu-jitsu fight to wins on too.
Oh, they do, yeah. But no, I like him. I like Murdoch. What the hell? Cardone? What the hell's the other guy's name? He's going to wrestle some. I hope he wins the title.
Thunder Rosa came from there, and so did Ricky Starks.
Really? From there?
Yep.
No, they do a good job. I don't know how they develop or how they choose their talent, but I like however they write their scripts, we'll say. And I guess with Nick Aldis, he's allowed to do a lot of input, which he should be because his stuff is good. And the thing what I like about him, because again, he talks about how a champion, how he portray in his mind, how a champion should be his style of champion. I'm going to dress nice. And it makes sense for the way he is presenting himself. Where the one thing I'll say about the WWE, it makes no sense the way the champions present themselves. When you don't, like AEW, okay, we got the cowboy guy. He presents himself as a cowboy. I get that, kind of an old shtick, but the one thing in AEW, they have a lot of smallish wrestlers.
Yeah.
I think Jim Cornette calls the other Cole, Adam Cole, the amazing shrinking Adam Cole, because he just when Cornette was talking about something, I went back I found some older matches on YouTube. And again, he was never a big guy, but I'm going to say he was about 205, 200, 250, 210. There's no way he's that now.
No, he's 170 now, if that.
There's no way he is close. And I was telling Teresa, I go, watch when he comes out. Unless he's wrestling, he's got the bulky leather jacket on to try to convey or show he's a bigger. He can wrestle. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying it's tough. Like their tag team champions, I don't agree with. They have so many better tag teams than Jungle Boy and the guy who's a dinosaur character. I'm sitting there going, oh my God. Now they can wrestle. It's just I'm like, it's a horrible fit. It's all those good tag teams, and these are the champs.
FTR should be tag team champs.
Oh, absolutely.
But apparently the Young Bucks have creative control over the tag division, so they won't let teams like that hold the belts, I guess.
But I have to say this: they do sell for it. When I watch, they'll lose single matches. I've watched them lose single matches. I've watched them. They sell. I can see where I don't like all of wrestling, way too many false finishes. To me, if Joe's finishing move is the DDT and Joe hits you with a DDT, it's done. If you don't want Joe to win, you should somehow block the DDT. You know what I mean? Like block it, get out of it. It just makes sense. I don't know.
Well, if I have you on my shoulders and jump off the top rope and slam you,
I'm not getting up.
No.
I'm going to
kick out.
No. So that's the one thing. I'll tell you the thing that fascinates me about the wrestling now with YouTube and stuff. I don't even care about enjoy watching old matches, and some of them are not as good as I thought, and others were better than I thought. Right? The business of it and how they decide to do things, and then when they call them shoot interviews, when the older guys are talking, they go, "This is why we did this." Do you ever watch the ones with Greg the Hammer Valentine on? I forgot what YouTube channel, but they're brilliant. He goes through the whole philosophy of what it's like to be what you should be thinking. How you want the bad guys to be the champs because you want the baby faces in that time period to always do the chasing because that's what the fans want. Unless you have a dominant face, you want the bad guys because people rather see the bad guys lose. They come there to watch the bad guy get the crap kicked out of him. And he goes, you can kick he was talking about him and Brutus the Barber Beefcake when they were the tag team. And they held the belts. He goes, you could beat us up all match, but we were going to win at the end because that's the fans. That's what brought the people in.
Oh, I used, when I was in the Army in Augusta, we'd go down to the Augusta Bell Auditorium every Monday, and the Freebirds were down there then.
Love the Freebirds.
And the emotions they would elicit from people. So it was always like Ted DiBiase and a partner of his choice, or Tommy Rich and someone trying to
Ted
beat them.
DiBiase was a good guy then, correct?
Huh?
Ted
What?
DiBiase was a good guy then, correct?
Yeah, he was a face then. And there's a good angle where they gave him like 4 pile drivers on the cement floor, But I mean, old ladies would language I'd never heard. One time we were there, and this old lady threw her shoe into the ring. The fans got into it. It was crazy. It was fun.
The superstar Billy Graham and other people who played heels the majority of their career, they'll tell you people try to stab them. People try to. I mean, that's nuts. Wrecking their cars.
Al, go on and watch on YouTube. Type in Ox Baker riot, and literally it was in
Ox
Cleveland.
Baker was the guy with the
with that mustache.
Oh, yeah, he was a scary looking dude.
And he was giving Ernie Ladd all these heart punches, and the fans thought he was going to kill him, because a guy did die in the ring with him in a previous match, heart attack. But the fans literally chairs, and they came out of the stands and chased them into the back. It's really funny.
And again, I'm not saying they should do that, but you don't get that anymore at wrestling, because
Yeah.
And again, that's probably a good thing or a
Maybe.
bad thing. I don't know. The illusion is gone.
Yeah. What's that one guy that would still real to me? Damn it.
Yeah. Oh, Dr. David Schultz. I mean, remember when he hit Schultz hit the
John
Stoppel or Stoppel, whatever. I just watched that again because someone mentioned I was watching Cornette or something, and I read the chat, like the people put thing. I'll read a little bit, and someone mentioned. I was like, oh, I gotta watch that again because I remember when I was a kid. He goes, "Is this fake? Bam! Is this fake? Bam!" I was like,
the
point he was making.
Schultz was a legit tough guy.
Oh yeah, he became he was a bounty hunter after.
Yeah,
that he has a real interesting story. They brought him over from AEW because he was going to work with Hogan, because Hogan liked working with him, and they brought Ventura over. The same thing.
Oh, from AWA.
AWA. I'm sorry, I said AEW. All right, let's go to the chat, and then we'll call I've already kept these gentlemen far too long, and I appreciate their time. Robbie Warburg, I think the part of the show, if they don't want the wrestler that performs the DDT to win, let him successfully do the DDT and make it hopeless for the other guy who is slated to win. I just think if to me, Anthony's finishing move would be some sort of judo, then a super kick thingy. That's the way I would have Anthony, right? For Joe, I like the DDT or the power bomb.
Tear my groin if I tried to throw a super kick.
So, I'm just saying, Diamond Dallas Page said his career got ruined. I forgot who he was. Another fast. I love listening to Diamond Dallas Page, whether you agree, disagree, whatever. He's done a lot of interesting things post wrestling. But he said, I knew my career was basically done. They ruined me when I forgot who was wrestling. They let the guy kick out of my finishing move. He goes, I don't care if I lose the match, right? Let's have a good match. Let's make money, right? And bring the people in. You can't let the guy and his point was, well, I agreed. And that's where I'm probably mimicking what he said. Just let the guy block my not let me get the finishing move on him. Don't let me hit him with my finishing move. And then the guy kicks out like it's nothing. He goes, it ruined the illusion. He goes, it ruined the realism to folks. So, but anyhow, interesting stuff. It's still amazing to me that I can still, after years of not watching wrestling, go back to and sit there and go, I can enjoy this a little bit again. I like some of this stuff. And I think that's a good thing. Anyhow, final thoughts, gentlemen. We'll start with Joe.
With me?
Yeah, we'll start with you.
Oh.
Whatever you want to, and it doesn't mean we're leaving right now. Just what do you want to, things you want to tell us about the games, the channel, or anything? I mean the sideline strategies.
Yeah.
Joe, do you have a YouTube channel?
No, not currently.
Okay.
I've been trying to figure out how it all works. I bought this microphone here that I'm talking on, and
Doing a good job.
Got a camera, so I'm trying to figure it out, and I hope to get some videos up later this year. But right now I don't.
Okay.
For baseball 2021, it's coming out like we've talked about. We'll have a few 60s and 70s season coming out. something pre-1920 will probably be out this year.
I'll be right back because the door rang.
Oh,
So, Joe and Anthony, you have the helm. I shall be back in a moment.
great.
It's our show now. So have you picked a pre-1920 season yet, or still debating?
Yeah, no, I have it in the works. It's just well, there might be two, but it just depends how much time I can devote. Well, when you have a run of sales, it takes all your time just to fill orders. So the time you wanted to spend working on a season, you're packing boxes, preparing shipments. It's a good problem to have, but I just wish there was more time.
No, shipping is definitely the worst part. And I had that brilliant idea to do a free shipping for the Thanksgiving sale.
Yeah, that was not a good idea.
Oh my God, I took a bath. It's great. It was great to get the game out, and I'm fine with it. But yeah, I'll never do that again.
No, because you're eating that cost.
Right.
I'll definitely go to the 10%, 15% off or whatever. But yeah, after the demand, I ran out of stock even for a couple of weeks. It was crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys are creating a game. To me, they're very reasonably priced, both games. Shipping. You give the option for PDFs. Now,
PDFs really are probably the only thing we consistently make money on too.
Right, because once you do it,
clear. Yeah.
So you have the new season coming out next month. You said, Joe, the 2020.
Yeah, should be a March yet, but the end of March.
Oh, okay, cool, excellent. We look forward to that. Thank you for being on, Joe.
Yeah, okay.
And we'd like to have you on again if you'd like to come back on. It was a lot of fun. Anthony.
Yeah, no, next up, like I said, college football later in the spring, shooting for May. So we'll see how that goes, testing and whatnot and rating time. And apart from that, hoping baseball gets it together, because I kind of put this on the owners too. I mean, it's two parties with people, but the owners seem to be making no concessions, and
there's money to be made by both sides.
Yeah,
there are other things going on in the world. Seriously, come to an agreement.
Right now it's like the owners. It seems like it's like playing chess with a pigeon, right? They land, knock over your pieces, shit on your game board, and then fly back to the roost and claim victory. And it's just not happening. The fans
they're going to kill their sport eventually. Not totally kill it, but they're going to. That's not the right. They're going to continually. When you can't take, if you want to take your family to a game, again, if you want to go to a game, go to a game. I'm just saying, I prefer watching on TV now because I'm not paying those prices. And when I want to go to the bathroom, I can get up and go to the bathroom. I'm at an age where sometimes I have to go to the bathroom. It just happens. But I don't understand, because baseball still, the way I remember, it was a fun game when I played this and that. Again, I still like it. I don't like the style that's played all the time. I like playoff baseball. Same thing like with hockey or something. I enjoy playoff baseball. It's that do or die. I think all sports fans like that. When do you think, if you give an over under, they start the season? May?
I think first week of May, last week of April. That's probably optimistic too.
Joe, what do you think?
Well, if they don't start soon, it might be June, I think, before we start seeing real baseball.
And that gives, I get one more quick thought in there for you guys, and we'll leave. The USFL an opportunity. Now, again, it's going to be not the USFL of old, because they're not going to have necessarily I hate saying this because there's so many good football players out there. I think I'm excited for the USFL. I hope they do it right. It's going to be kind of strange because they're playing in one location. Oh, God, I think it's Birmingham. Someone told me, I want to say Birmingham, Alabama. They're playing every game in Birmingham, Alabama. Kind of a interesting move there. One location. They're hoping to get. I get it, but I don't. But it gives them an opportunity if they put teams together correctly with good coaching and you have some practicing. Play football, be competitive. There's one thing that really interested me with the USFL, with a rule where they're going to have, not a rule, but they're going to have an official in the booth. And if they say like a quarterback gets hit in the NFL, you've seen it. The guy hits the quarterback, they call a late hit or a dirty hit. Then you watch and even when you're watching, the guy hit him with a shoulder. Yeah, the guy you get hit, your head's going to snap, but he didn't. It's not a dirty hit. They're going to supposedly in the USFL, they're going to turn around and say that's not a personal foul. The guy hit him with it's a clean hit. The guy's head snapped back. I'm going to be interested to see if they really do that. Also, to me, move the kickoffs back, please. Or if you want, make them field the kickoff at least. I hate the whole bouncing in the end zone going, no.
No, I really, really liked what the XFL did on kickoffs.
Yeah, me too.
Safer, guaranteed return. I thought that was a genius move almost. Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I think that's going away when they come back next year.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Well, they just signed the deal with the NFL
to test out things.
Yeah. The NFL is going to use them to test out new rules and stuff, so it won't be the same, unfortunately.
So go through the guaranteed return. I'm trying the XFL kickoff rule.
Oh, so they'd line up both teams basically. You'd have your kicker, and they'd line up the offense or the return team on, I believe, the 25, the defense on the 30. And the kickoff had to fall between the goal line and the 25. And then once it was caught, the players on the 25 and 30 could move. So it was basically.
I like that. I didn't watch any XFL when it came back. I like that. I do like that because at least you're getting the return. I don't like in the NFL they kick it it's a live ball after 10 yards, and I get it. He's telling the judge back, the referee, whatever, the official, I'm not fielding the ball. Dude, just catch the ball. No one's gonna hit you in the end zone. Just catch the ball.
No,
that's what to replace the onside kick, which was lost there. They had I think it was a 4th and 10 or 4th and 15. Basically, you had one play.
I remember that, but was that the other league, that UFL?
No, that was the XFL too.
Okay, because I do remember that. That I remember.
Kick.
Yeah,
and I think that down took place where you normally kick from, and if you didn't get the first down, the other team
got the ball.
Yeah.
Anyway, interesting stuff. I hope the USFL does well. I like football in the spring. I always did. So I like football. So, and again, I think there's a lot of good football players out there, whether they're on the NFL squads now, or and they don't get a chance to play, or out of college. There's quality players, and if you don't have to be the NFL, just put together, let them play football, keep the flags in your pocket, let them play football, and I think they'll do a-okay. Gentlemen, thank you very much. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Anthony. Thank you to everyone in the chat. D. Scott Howard, Steeler fan, Robbie Wartburg, Golden Eagle. Sorry I missed you coming in. Zalapski Smurf, Dave Gardner, John DFW, Todd B, Cutter Historical, Alan Griggy, Brian Patterson. We had a nice chat here. Roger Ward. I just like to say goodbye and hello to everyone. Richard Butler. And we greatly appreciate everybody's time. I think we got everyone. I don't know how far it's going to let me go up. That's it, folks. MV, a.k.a. Mouse in the House. And for everyone who was here again, we appreciate your time. I like to say hello to everyone who comes in and try to say goodbye to everyone who's still here. So thank you, Joe. Thank you, Anthony. Greatly appreciate everyone who joined. If you enjoyed the stream, hit that like button. Oh. Thank you very much.
Have a good night, guys.
Boring. Remember, sidelinestrategies.com, Payoff Pitch, Glory Days Boxing, Sumo Wrestling, much, much more. Sidelinestrategies.com, link on the page, in the chat. Check it out. Great stuff there. Check out Anthony's YouTube channel, Bleacher Bums Gaming, and the Glory Days Facebook group page, which is a lot of fun. There's a lot of nice projects going on. Always fun to read them and follow them. Stay safe. Be smart. God bless. We'll see you soon. I love you all. And peace.
See ya.